Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Right, so this is the fourth round draw for the 22nd edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. And we are down to just two players now. There were five in the last round, I believe, and Will has eliminated it down to just two, with John Davis taking both Damien Handel for 20 and Cushy Cake through to this round. So, obviously, there's the obvious implication that this could be the final round of the game. So, obviously, just to run through the various scenarios for any new players that might be unfamiliar with the rules, if both Damien Handel 420 and Cushy Cake get drawn with winning fighters, then they both go through to a fifth round, where we'll repeat the process again. And if one of them has a winning fighter, the other has a losing one, then obviously the one with the winning fighter is our lucky bastard champion. And of course, if they both have losing fighters, then obviously the wheel itself is declared the winner. So now that we know what's at stake, I think it's time to have a look at the card itself in question. This is UFC 305. Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya as your main event. And that is a very interesting fight, in my opinion. Um, Obviously, there's been a lot of politics or social issues, whatever you want to call them, outside of the cage. I'm not going to delve into that, as quite frankly, I don't really understand the nuances of African politics as well as I don't really understand it as well. Obviously, this whole thing about Duplessis saying he's the only champion training out of Africa and being the only true champion and all that, it gets really messy. I'm not going to get into all of that, but the only reason I am bringing that up is because we know that Israel Adesanya is he does he is quite easy to get under his skin sometimes, and that does affect his performances. Uh, I guarantee if it wasn't for all the shit that Sean Strickland talked in the build up to their fight, I don't think Sean Strickland would have won that. Um, and the same with his rivalry with Alex Pereira. The fact that they've obviously had history as well, that is obviously Pereira's a great fighter, obviously, but they are similar in ability. But that history definitely did seem to have a psychological effect on Adesanya. So it'd be interesting to see how he reacts to what Duplessis has been saying in the build up to this, whether he comes in hungrier with a point to prove, or whether he just sort of is already mentally been defeated by that. We'll have to see how that plays out. But what we do know is that he's a great fighter. Had a long reign as champion, winning quite a few by decision, but then he did also knock out the likes of Pereira, as I previously mentioned, and Paulo Costa as well. So he certainly can't be written off. As for Duplessis, well, he's come out of nowhere, really, hasn't he? So to speak. If you asked me a couple of years ago whether this guy would be a champion, I never would have guessed. Never would have thought. But here we are. Obviously, split decision versus Sean Strickland, which I felt was actually a fairly comfortable win for him, to be honest. But split nonetheless. And obviously, he's knocked out Robert Whitaker and Derek Brunson on the lead ups to that title fight. So this is yeah, it's we know they're both very good fighters, beating the top of the division. So it's a very, very interesting title fight from the fight perspective alone. As for the winner, I've gone with Duplessis for a decision, but honestly, this could go either way. Adesanya could get a decision quite easily as well. He's got the skill and outboxing ability to do that. Obviously, he's got the power to KO Adesanya, and so does Whitaker, knocking out. No, so does Duplessis after knocking out Whitaker, particularly. So this could anything could happen in this. Well, I mean, I'd be surprised to see a submission, but yeah. But my guess for this is Duplessis by decision. But anyway, you're not here to listen to me ramble about That could go on for quite a while about that fight, actually. That is one of the few title fights that's got me thinking this could be a really good all-time classic, potentially. You're here to see who you're going to get drawn with in the Lucky Bastard game. So, without further ado, let's go over to the wheel and let's see who he's got in store for. Who the wheel's got in store for Damien Handel for 20 up first. And we won't have to wait long to find out his fate, as he's one of the prelim openers, Stuart Nicole. Stuart Nicole there for Damien Handel for 20. And that's yeah, it looks good on paper, doesn't it? It's 8-0, minus 225 favourite with the bookies. So obviously the bookies are on Damien's side, but personally, I think that his opponent, Jesus Aguilar, is going to come out with the win here simply because obviously I'm biased because I'm more familiar with Aguilar as he's 2-1 in the UFC. I've got him by second round submission as well, as if you saw his contender series fights before joining the UFC, had a very impressive submission win in that, and yeah, it's something I don't think that's really Nicole's really had to face too much. I think that could prove to be a weakness. So this is certainly a tough test for Stuart Nicole for his UFC debut, but he is the bookie's favourite. I personally don't think he's quite ready, but we'll see. We'll see if maybe the bookies know something that I don't. And now, lastly, we have already because there's only two of you, obviously. We have Cushy Cake. So let's see who the wheel's got in store for Cushy Cake. And Cushy Cake has to wait almost the other side of the cards. He gets one of the co-main eventers, Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France there for Cushy Cake. And I don't really fancy his chances at all in this fight. He could win, obviously, he's a quality fighter, but I think that would be a bit of a surprise because he's up against Steve Erceg, who okay, he's a lot of people were saying he's a bit green, and yeah, Kai Kara France is the more experienced fighter coming into this, but he's if you look at Steve Erceg's rise through the flyweight division, he's been phenomenal over the last year or so in particular. His last fight was a losing effort, but a very noble losing effort against Alexander Pantoja for the flyweight belt, and only losing that one by decision. And yeah, he showed himself very well in that. He's gone through to go through all the contenders in the flyweight division quite quickly, or all the ones that he's faced anyway, winning quite a lot by knockout, and then having a very good showing in the title fight. I think that's going to set him up well for this, particularly that Kai Kara France on a 2-fight losing streak. Okay, one was against Brandon Moreno, no shame in that, but then the other was against Amir Albazi, who, again, decent fighter, but I think Kara France should be beating. That's all, guys like him. So I'm not sure really. Is Kai Kara France falling off a little bit? Steve Erceg's on the rise, that's for sure. So he's earned his place at the top of the division. So I think a bit of luck's needed there for Cushy Cake. So that concludes the fourth round, rather, not quite the fifth round. If they both win, it would be the fifth round, but this is just the fourth round. So Damien Handel 420 with Stuart Nicole and Cushy Cake with Kai Kara France. And obviously, if they both win, they both go through. If one wins, one loses, that will be that person will be crowned a champion, and their fighter, either Stuart Nicole or Kai Kara France, will be introduced into the Lucky Bastard Game Hall of Fame, which is sort of a ranking I've made on Tapology with all the fighters that have won games for previous winners. Obviously, ones where the wheel wins aren't included in that. But so yeah, one of those could maybe make an interesting addition if it ends in this one. Or of course, if they both lose, then the whole thing's over. And the wheel wins again. So I hope somebody wins this. And yeah, to be honest, can't lie, I think it's going to be Damien Handel 420, simply because he's got he's got the slight favourite of that. He's got the one that's the bookie's favourite, even though I don't think he's going to win that particular fight. I think Stuart Nicole has a better chance than Kaiko of France. So yeah, I think realistically, we could very well end up with the wheel winning it. But if any of them is going to win it in this round, I reckon Damien Handel 420 is going to be the one that walks away with the win. But obviously, I can't be biased about it. Not that I can control the game in any way whatsoever. Anyway, I can't control what those fighters do in the cage. So all I can do is just wish you two the best of luck. Wish you all, everyone watching, the best of luck with your picks on Tapology. And especially if you've got any bets on this card as well, good luck with those. Try and win a bit of money. And until next time, whether that's a new game or whether that's a new round, so long for now.